All right, today we're going to be showing how to do what's called an assembly. So first thing you want to do is find the sketch for the base of your car. And notice I have multiple sketches over here. That looks like one of the motor holder parts. Make sure you find the correct sketch. There you go. If you hover, it turns orange. And then I'm going to right click and then select edit to open up that sketch. There's my base. Everything is black. I'm going to click on the word front to kind of recenter things, and it looks like my sketch is done. So I'm going to do what's called an extrusion. So I'm going to come over here to this on the upper left hand corner to this symbol. It says extrude, and I'm going to tap it once. And what it does is it makes that two-dimensional sketch become a three-dimensional part. Now you can't see it because we're looking directly at it. If I come over here to the upper right-hand corner of the navigation cube and I tap, you can see that it's 3D. If I want to have some fun with this, I can go to the arrow and kind of do a double tap and drag, and it changes the depth of the piece, right? But this does not look like a piece of wood, right? So the depth that I need to type in is approximately 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to type in 0.125. That's 125 thousandths of an inch, and then I'm going to hit enter, and then I'm done. So I'm going to tap over here in the white space, and then you can see, oh, let me hit the green check mark. All right, so now if I zoom in a little bit, and by the way, to zoom, you want to put two fingers side by side on the mouse pad or use your scroll wheel. And then I've got my extruded piece of wood. So now it's 3D. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the axle holder. So you want to find your axle holder sketch, and you want to extrude this as well. So I'm going to hit extrude, and it doesn't know what I want to extrude, so it's telling me what faces do you want to extrude. I can just go over here to my list on the left and click sketch 1, and it pops out, and I need to make the depth 0.125 inches, hit enter, and then it should look like the piece of wood that we laser cut. If we hit the green check mark and zoom in, it's good to go. All right. Now we're going to do what's called an assembly. We're going to put those parts together. So we come down here to the lower left-hand side, we press the plus sign, and then we select Create Assembly. Now it'll be blank, so we need to insert our parts. So first we go to Insert, and we click on Insert, and then we go, I would select the base first. You might have to click this little arrow, and then there's part 1, that's my base. And then I want to hit the check mark, and you should see that my base is inserted. Now I want to insert my axle holder, and then I hit the check mark. Now what you notice is the two parts got inserted on top of each other. If I put my cursor down here and zoom in, you can see that they're kind of overlapping, and that's physically impossible. So I'm going to click on the axle holder, and now I have a lot of choices. I have like a little square, I've got 2 arrows, and I've got this little circle. That's for rotating the piece. I'm going to use the arrow and double tap and drag. Okay, so I'm going to double tap and drag, and then now I can see that I've got the axle off to the side, and when I'm done, I can just tap in the white space. Now I want to rotate and kind of turn the axle holder piece so it's going to insert into the base. So I'm going to look at it from a different perspective. The navigation cube is going to help us. We're going to click on the lower right hand corner. Okay, and now I'm going to look from the bottom perspective. Okay, now I need to rotate this to insert it. Now let me check that again. This is actually looking at the base. This is the top of the base, like where the motor would sit. So I'm going to turn the axle holder so that little tab is sticking up. So I'm going to go bottom view, and then I'm going to zoom out a little bit, click on the axle holder, and I'm going to use this little circle tool to rotate. So it's a double tap and drag, and I can rotate it exactly 90 degrees by typing in 90. And then I want to use the square to bring it over so it's barely sticking out of the base. And then when I'm done, I can tap in the white space and kind of look at it using the navigation cube, and that's good. What I'm trying to do is put it close to the hole, but not in the hole. All right, close to the hole, but not in the hole. Now I'm going to go to front view and zoom in on that little area. And all I'm trying to do is put this corner in this corner. I'm trying to match them up. So we're going to do something called fastened mate. So I tap on Fasten to Mate. It's going to connect two parts. And it says, well, what two parts do you want to connect? Well, I'm going to start with my piece, and I go to this corner right here, and I tap. Then I go to the corner that I want it to go to, and I tap again, and then I hit the green check mark. And I want to look at it from a 3D perspective to make sure it looks right. So I'm going to go over here, and that does not look right at all, right? That looks totally goofy. That's physically impossible. So if you mess up, don't worry, it happens to all of us. Go to right click on Fasten and Delete. Okay, now I need to rotate it so it's facing the correct way. So I'm going to tap on the axle holder, and now I've got so many choices. It might be easiest to look at it from one side, and then I can rotate it properly. So I'm going to try it again, and I'm going to go make it 90 degrees so it's perfectly flat. And then again, I'm going to have it barely stick out like that. And then I'm going to go back to my 3D perspective. Now it's a little too close to perfect. I need to see the hole. So I'm going to tap on it, use the arrow to drag it to the side a little bit. All right, so my recommendation is actually to be in a 3D perspective when you try to do the Fasten Mate. So let's try it again. Fasten Mate. And what you want to look for is a little blue axis sticking up. So I'm going to go to this white dot. See that little blue axis? And then I click. And I want the same blue axis when I'm over in this part. So I zoom in and I go to that corner. And if the blue axis is facing the same direction, I click. And then I hit, that's called the Z axis. And then I hit the green check mark. And then I can see that that part's connected. If I hold down my right button, I can rotate it. And I can see that it's barely sticking up.